Now, the prevailing theory of what happened to the civilization in the Amazon rainforest is disease, right?
And that prevailing theory is correct. It was there was a Spaniard, Francisco de Orellana, who accidentally managed to travel the entire way across the Amazon, across South America in the 1560s. I say accidentally because he was with 20 other guys. They were in a boat and they were going hunting. But they put the boat on the Amazon River, and the Amazon River wouldn't let them come back. It carried them, kept on carrying them west and west and west. And finally they started off in Colombia, and finally they ended up on the Atlantic coast of South America. Well, on the way through, they observed enormous cities. They observed evidence of high civilizations of the Amazon. He reported it, but he was disbelieved. It was thought that he was making it up, and it's these new LiDAR surveys that have confirmed that he was absolutely correct. And God knows what else might be found in the Amazon if the work were actually done.
So those initial explorers carried diseases? And
they carried diseases. This is the thing. Orellana encountered thriving, highly populated areas. 100 years later, all gone, completely gone. Not because of muskets and swords, but because of smallpox, primarily because of smallpox and other diseases that were imported from Europe that the indigenous inhabitants did not have resistance to. Just completely decimated those civilizations, almost wiped them completely from human memory. There's no doubt that biological weapon is the reason for the conquest of the Americas, that it was the diseases that were brought in. And in some cases, those diseases were deliberately spread, but in other cases, it was just an accident of contact.
And that's the exact same thing that happened in North America.
And that's the exact same thing that happened in North America, too. That's how it became so easy for Europeans to conquer, because of the diseases they brought with them. And it is, I call it the earliest known example of a biological weapon that we're seeing in the story of the Americas. And so much was wiped out, so much memory was wiped out. And then not just the killing off of the people with the diseases that Europeans brought, but the church, the way that the church behaved in the Americas was appalling. The deliberate burning of Mayan codices. In one bonfire, 5,000 Mayan books were heaped up and burnt by some idiot priest. You know, what's he doing there but wiping out the memory banks of humanity? What would we have found in those manuscripts if we'd been able to find them today, if they hadn't been burnt by some religious fanatic who was convinced that his ideas were the only right ideas and everybody else was wrong? Christianity is responsible for a great deal of harm in this world, and it's time Christians sucked it up and got to grips with that instead of regarding themselves as a paragons of virtue, because Christianity has done horrific things down through the ages. Hopefully it's learned from its experiences.
Hopefully. That doesn't seem very likely.
But it's been an instrument, It's been an instrument of destruction of human memory.
Yes.
Those who were destroying that human memory, no doubt they fervently believed that they were right. But their belief that they were right doesn't mean they were right. They were wrong. They've deprived us of huge libraries of knowledge which would otherwise be available to us. That's why I call us a species with amnesia, that we have forgotten so much about our own past. And we're in that kind of amnesiac state where we just have a feeling that something's wrong, but we don't quite know what it is.
It's one of the more fascinating aspects of being a person today is that we have so much access to information, and that we can find out about these things now that, if you tried to bring these ideas forth in the 1970s, they'd be easily dismissed.
Yeah.
But now, because of LiDAR, because of our understanding of what disease did to North America and what the Christians did, and it's a far more compelling conversation.
Yeah, and the internet.